Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. My name's Linda Boache, Korean Mindset Coach from Korean Mindset Services. And today I'm joined by Kamaria Fleury. Hi,
Hi.
Kamaria.
Hello, everybody. Hello, viewers.
And thank you for joining us. Today we're going to be, and this is the second part of our Legends of Legends project. So this project aims to showcase people that are doing amazing things with their careers so that we can learn from them. We can see a wide range of careers that are open to us, people that are designing their careers. Of course, we're going to be talking about the mindset aspects of it. Um, so yeah, tune in if you're watching and you're enjoying it or anything relates to you. Like, share, comment, let us know what you think about it. We've got 3 viewers already. If you're watching on YouTube, comment, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're watching, hi, and thank you for joining us. And we're feeling the love already. So I'm going to go ahead and get Kamaria, today's legend, to introduce herself.
Oh my God, no. That I feel like that's a title not really reserved for me, legend. I'm not there yet where I want to be. But hello, everybody. I'm Kamaria. I'm a personal growth practitioner and I specialize in self-love and success, coaching people to really tap into their unique selves, experiences, and explore more about themselves to help them reach the levels that they want to get to, whether that's in their personal journey or career. And that's basically what I do. But I specialize particularly in working with women of color.
Awesome. So, Kamaria, talking about careers, give us a brief introduction to your career. What's been your journey so far?
So my background is in psychology. I'm currently training up to be a psychologist. So last year, I recently completed my master's at UCL in psychoanalytic developmental psychology, which is a mouthful, but it's like the Freudian approach to psychology. And my bachelor's degree is also in psychology. And I really just got into it because from A level, I really enjoyed the subject. And at first, I thought I really wanted to be a journalist. And somehow I got so much interested in psychology and the science behind it and how it could be used in so many different ways to help people. And ever since then, it was just something I hooked onto and decided to progress in my professional career, but also decided to take it on in a business model as well. Yeah.
Awesome. I love Freud. I did a bit of psychology, and I Freud is amazing. He's just like crazy geniuses that you can't help but admire. But you could say actually he was self-actualized and just wasn't afraid to express himself and his crazy ideas, which we've now all come to know. And I'm not sure about love, but know.
You know all them, yeah.
Right. Right. So, talking about your journey, how did you get from wanting to be a journalist to now being a personal growth practitioner? That seems like a very interesting journey.
Well, I really wanted to do something in journalism, and my dad is a very much traditional West Indian parent. So he was just like, where is that going to take you? kind of thing. So once I kind of got interested in psychology, and I was like, actually, I think I want to do this at university. My dad was quite almost a bit happy that I'd made a decision to take on something that was a bit more scientific and had a bit more of a solid background. And then from then on, I pursued psychology at undergrad. I was fortunate enough to be able to do 2 work placements there, working in places that deal with psychological issues, helping children. And then I was also able to, once I graduated, I then actually volunteered abroad in Ghana. And
Okay.
Yeah, and I worked at one of the community psychiatric units there. And I really enjoyed the experience, and it just made me feel that actually there was so much more to psychology that I hadn't really explored. And there's so many different ways of helping people, and how everybody's unique journey is so different depending on where you are in the world, the context. But at the same time, as well, everything that underlines it applies to all human beings. So then I went, so then I did a stint in the NHS as well, working in inpatient psychiatry here. And then I left that because I didn't quite enjoy it as much as I thought I would have.
Right.
Maybe being in Ghana, and it was kind of like a holiday slash working. I was having the time of my life. And then come back
to them and say, of course it is.
And then you kind of come back to reality, and you kind of realize that, okay, I'm doing this pretty much the same job, but it's not all fun and games, and it actually became quite stressful. So I quite decided that actually I didn't want to take the clinical psychology route. So I started to explore, what other things can I do out there? And then I did my master's in psychoanalytic developmental psychology. And again, I got to work in clinics, but mainly with children. And I really saw more how people were using like therapeutic techniques, activities, games, not the traditional methods. And I realized that actually there's another side to this career that can be more fun and more engaging. And then whilst I was at uni, I did quit my job. So I didn't have any money, and I really struggled for a bit. And I just kind of thought, in that whole period of, not working and trying to get a master's at the same time, I really started to think about, what is it that I want to do? Because there's no way that I'm going to just get a master's and then go back to doing exactly the same job again that I tried to escape from, essentially. And it really got me thinking about what I could do. And I remember I didn't really plan this, but in the time I just started posting little quotes on Instagram about things I was thinking, and I was just questioning the working world as we know it. And I was putting up things like, why do we work to live? We work to live, not live to work, and all these kinds of things. And I was just discussing things, especially from being a young person, from my perspective, and just saying things like, we're told to go to university and do all these things. And once you've done that, it's like, there's no big reward at the end. You're just like, I'm dumped off in the working world. So, and I was questioning this, thinking like, then I came across the term like quarter life crisis. And I was literally turning 25 that year. And I was like, oh, the quarter life crisis. And me and my friends would like joke about it so much. And then I researched it more and realized, actually, no, this is a thing. And then my business was kind of born out of that idea, because I realized that there was nothing out there, especially for people that are in the 20s and done the university route. They follow the traditional model, and then they get stuck and just feel like, is this it? And we've all envisioned so much more for ourselves. So that's kind of how I got to from journalism all the way back to my business.
I absolutely admire that, because again, that's one of the core reasons I got into the business, because it's helping people that have the dream when they go to university, and it's not cheap, especially in the UK. I don't know where everyone else is watching from, but in the UK, it's not cheap, and you end up with all this debt, and then you come out of uni, and there's this panic, real panic, to just get something, the first job, like get a graduate job, get a good salary, because that's what's expected, and then you don't take the time to think or shape your career, and that's what career mindset is about. Actually, we're going on to designer careers and how to career. And if you've been following career mindset, how to career is our cardinal thing, right? Career is, the C stands for cause, having a cause, having something that you stand for, something that's greater than yourself, that you're willing to work for the rest of your days for.
Yeah.
Then you've got authenticity, being authentically you, that your genuine interests, your genuine passions, and just being yourself. The R stands for the reason why, because you've got the cause, which is this great big thing that you want to contribute into the world. But the reason why is, why should I get up now and go and do something? Why should I leave the country, for example, when you went to Ghana, to go and help people? I'm comfortable in England. Why would I leave that? Or why would I get out of bed today? Or why would I do my best at work because I still get paid by the hour, whatever. So that reason why, that thing that keeps you going every second, and you think, oh, well, actually, if we're not on this live right now, someone isn't hearing this message that we need to be sharing. So actually, I'm going to get up and share this. So I'm going to put that post on Instagram or whatever. And then you've got your E, which is the environment, finding your tribe, like-minded people. The other E is your excitement, your enthusiasms, your passions, and also the time and effort that it takes to attain mastery. So if you learn to play the piano, it's exciting at first, but it's not. You don't just go through 2 or 3 lessons and start playing. It's a lot. It's a lot of grades. It's a lot of hours of work of practice, and then remuneration again, getting paid and adding value and getting paid for what you do. So that's how to career, and that's what career mindset is based on. Now, haven't reiterated that. Which one of it has been the most influential in you starting Kamaria Fleury and your business?
For me, I would say it would probably be along the lines of making sure that whatever I'm doing fits in with what I love. So for me, it's more about, I'd say it's a cross between the cause, authenticity, and maybe the reasons why. I think for me, it's definitely about doing something that I feel is going to not just benefit me, help people and make impact, but it's also going to be something that I love and I enjoy doing. And I feel like, you know, when I was in that stage of my life where I was evaluating things, you know, one of the biggest questions was like, why am I doing something that I do not like?
Yeah.
It sounds like a very simple question, but you know, I really had to think very deeply about it. And it was just like, when I started to analyze it, I was thinking, it all comes back to money, you know? And I was thinking about, you know, the things people do for money. And then it kind of made me question about, you know, so what is this meaning of life, you know? And it sounds really, you know, people are like, oh my God, you went on, you know, like a big mind trip or something. But it really got me thinking about some of the deepest life questions that we probably don't really make time to ask ourselves, or we don't think about them until we're faced with them, if you know what I mean. So for me, it really made me feel that, you know, whatever it is that I want to do, I have to enjoy it first and foremost. And second of all, it has to make impact, because I always feel like, you know, for me personally, my belief is that we're in this world to help other people. And if I can't do that, then why am I doing it? You know, I always said, you know, I'd never want to be one of those people whose job entails only generating income for their self, you know. And it's no good. It's no good being successful on your own as well, because, you know, you've got friends and you've got family who you want to share that experience with. And it's not going to be quite as enjoyable if you can't say, hey, you know, I'm going on a trip to such and such, you know, come along. And they're like, oh no, I can't afford it. Do you know what I mean? So it's not making maximum impact to a lot of people out there. And I think also like people like me, young people who just never thought that the life they wanted could be possible for them.
Yeah, definitely. So we spoke about self-love, and I think everyone's curious. I have spoken a bit about self-love, but you're the expert. What is it? What is self-love? What about self-love? What do you do with self-love? How do you help people with self-love?
Oh, self-love it's such a broad topic, and I think it has its own meaning for everybody else. But I feel like self-love is helping people to find something within themselves where they feel free to be authentically themselves. They don't feel like they have to apologize for who they are. They don't feel like they have to tailor who they are or cut bits out and fit into this box and squeeze into, you know. And it's also about prioritizing you, which I think, as I said before, like I believe the world is about helping people, but I also feel like there needs to be balance. And sometimes we can overextend ourselves to helping and sorting everybody else out, especially women, especially if you're a mother, especially if you've got responsibilities. And it's kind of remembering that your life is yours and yours only. And I think a lot of us forget that, like, yeah, we have family and loads of people around us and friends, but your life ultimately is your own life. And it's like taking back control of your own destiny. So for me, self-love is, of course, it's about embracing who you are and getting rid of insecurities and, gaining confidence and all these things. But for me, it's more also about, taking back the power and saying, I'm making the decisions. I'm the governor of my own life. Yeah.
I always say only you has 100% of your DNA. And if you don't look after yourself, you can't look after anybody else. In the airlines, they tell you to put your own mask on first before you can help someone else, even your kids.
Yeah.
So that's super important. It's super important to love yourself as you are, your weaknesses, your flaws, and just embrace who you are and how unique you are and special gift you have to share with the world. I totally love that.
Definitely.
I think it's a great job. So, what's your biggest challenge in your career so far?
Ooh. I've had so many actually, but I would say the biggest challenge in my career has been finding work that I love, but that also pays the right amount of money. And I find it's very difficult to find that combination, because you'll either find a job that you love and it won't pay very well, or you will find a job that pays very well and you will be bored out of your brains, or it's not your area of expertise, or you don't find it interesting. And that has always been a challenge for me. I think because I'm a very motivated person, and like you said, I'm always thinking of mastery, like how do I master something? And I can get bored very, very quickly because I'm a person that's always challenging myself. Once I figure something out, for me, I've done it, that's it, I will switch off. So for me, to find the balance between work that is consistently going to challenge me enough, it's also something I enjoy, but also pays well. And I've found that particularly where I am in the stage of my career, that doesn't quite always add up. There's not enough jobs that pay very well that are also, exactly what it is you want to do. So for me, the biggest challenge is, having to compromise what it is that I want, and kind of teaching myself, that you don't have to be settling, but just learn to be satisfied until something better comes along, until I get to, what it is that I want to do.
I'm so glad you said that, because again, that seems to be, if you're watching on that live and you've experienced this, we'd like to hear from you in the comments below, because that is a key thing where most people think, okay, well, it's a binary. It's either you do what you love or you do what you hate but get paid. But as you're saying, you can have it both, right? And it's about being patient and keeping in, and of course putting that course in front of you, putting that goal before you, and knowing why you do something, right? Because that keeps you going, right? And then it will pay off eventually, but it's a process, right?
Definitely, it is a process, and it's learning also to be patient and knowing, and also having a lot of hope as well. And I don't know, but I know a lot of psychology grads and students talk about this, and there's this process of, getting on to do the doctoral training to become chartered, and it's quite a difficult and very lengthy process. And I would say, actually, surprisingly, it takes just as long as becoming a medical doctor, and it really shouldn't, in my opinion. But I know a lot of people feel as though, the process for this is too long, it's demotivating. And it really can become demotivating because of how long things take. And a lot of people get rejected the first time and they have to reapply. And I guess part of the journey is, keeping your faith and holding on to hope that, one day you are going to get to where you need to be.
Absolutely. It's having that conviction as well. So it's even more than hope. It's the faith, it's the unwavering belief that actually this is happening, and this is gonna pay off, and what I'm doing is super important. I can't afford not to do it.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so talking about the mindset bit now, just to clarify, mindset is a set of attitudes and beliefs that we hold to be true, and therefore impact our actions and our reactions towards life. Mindset could be anything. So believing that actually you can be successful in this business, and different personal development things that we do to put ourselves in the right mindset. So, I mean, there's a lot of mindset personal development practices. So you've got journaling, you've got gratitude. Lots of people do early morning priming, as well as eating healthy, exercising. What are some of the things that you do to keep your mindset healthy?
Oh my God, the biggest thing I do is podcasting, listening to podcasts, because for me, there's nothing better than hearing somebody talk about things. I think I'm a very auditory person, so I benefit a lot from, listening to people talk, and I guess naturally being trained in psychology, you're trained in that way too. But that definitely helps a lot. I mean, there's a lot going on in the podcast world, and some people feel like, podcast is for me or it isn't for you, but I genuinely benefit from listening to a lot of those podcasts, especially ones about personal development, personal growth. Sometimes it's just nice to hear other people's stories and realize that, we're not in this alone. We're all in it together, as they say. And yeah. Sometimes you can really relate. Like, I've listened to podcasts sometimes and just felt like, oh my God, they're talking about my life. Like, and it's really reassuring to know that, what you're going through sometimes can be quite normal. And I find it is a very helpful way to keep your mindset in check, because if it's a podcast, you can always go back to a new episode, every week or however much it comes out, or you can go back and re-listen to, the old episodes and things. And I really like to just put that on at night when I want to relax and just listen to somebody else doing the talking for once. And that really does help my mindset. I also I don't really journal, but I blog. So when I blog, if I have a bad experience or something, I really do. I feel like putting it in a blog post really helps me, because it lets me get it out there, and I explore what I'm feeling and thinking and everything in the post. And once I've written it, I feel like the issue's not gone, but I've kind of had the space to rant, vent, and put it out there. And I feel like it's a very helpful way, because sometimes, you come home and you have a moan to your friends or your family, but after a while, there's only so much they want to hear. They don't want to hear this story. They don't want to hear this story, again, day in, day out. It gets boring. The first time is interesting, but after a while, so if you're always looking for a new outlet where you might still have feelings that you're thinking of the next day, like, oh yeah, I still feel like, a certain kind of way. And sometimes you might not feel comfortable to then keep, somebody's asked a question, I think.
Oh, any titles of podcasts, please, Chris?
Oh, yes. I definitely love the Baggage Reclaim Sessions by a lady called Natalie Liu. It's on SoundCloud, iTunes. And she really talks about, it's focused on relationships, but she talks a lot about the relationships we have with ourselves, our family, in the workplace, people pleasing, all those kinds of things. And it's really interesting because she really gets into the nitty gritty of, why we think certain things or why we act in certain ways. And she does draw a lot on psychology as well, even though she's not a psychologist, but I found her stuff really insightful. So that's a good one to check out, actually.
Oh, awesome. That's a great question, Chris. Thanks for asking. So, what would you say is the most important piece of advice that you could give to our audience right now? in terms of self-love, in terms of building their career, anyone that's trying to do something that what you're doing, anyone thinking of studying psychology, because actually I work with a lot of people that are early stage careers. What would you say?
I would say persevere and believe in yourself and really work on your mindset before you get stuck into anything. And whilst you're still in it, still work on your mindset, because even as far as I've come, I'm not going to lie, there are days when I wake up and feel like, oh, this isn't working, tomorrow it's all good. And I have had experiences where suddenly it's all gone bad and you kind of feel like, oh, I've crashed and burned, and then you kind of feel like you should leave it where it is. But, you've always got to have the ability to kind of dig deep and get it back on track somehow, some way. I've been through experiences where, I've got a job, lost jobs, then you think, oh my God, now I'm back to square one. And then, you've started a business and then you're like, oh great, now I have no customers. And then, it will pick up eventually in time, and you never know when that time is going to be. But I just say, whatever it is that you set your heart on, always be consistent and always work on your mindset, because it's okay doing it at first and then thinking, I'm super motivated, but it's not just getting started. It's about to keep going. And along the way, you really need to do everything possible to keep that determination going along the way and really try not to get disheartened. And I would say that more or less applies as well generally for psychology, because as I explained before, it's a long journey into psychology and you have to really love it. You really do. And I think it's the same for any career, that you want to do. You have to really love this thing, and it has to be the thing that you think about first thing in the morning and last thing at night. Like, you have to really love it that much. Otherwise, if you don't, then you're probably in it for the wrong reasons.
Absolutely. And that's what I believe. You've got to go to a career that really summarizes your strengths, your passions. It's completely you, so that it doesn't feel like work. It's not supposed to feel like work. And I don't know why 99% of the population think it's okay to hate Mondays and TGIF and all that stuff. It's supposed, if we're going to do that every day, we're supposed to enjoy it. And it is possible to enjoy it, but you've got to understand who you are, what your strengths are, and then do that as a job. So I completely agree with you.
Also, actually, it's not to say that you have to love something so much that there isn't going to be hard days, but there'll be hard days in everything you do. But I think the idea is that even when you do have a hard day, you have to love it that much that you're willing to get up and give it another go.
Yeah, absolutely, exactly. There's no delusions there. Nothing's easy. Even when you fall in love and it's all roses, it does go wrong. Like, nothing is 100%. So, I'm glad you shared that. So just to conclude, Kamaria, I really just want to take a minute and say thank you so much for all the hard work, that you're doing. Women targeting young girls and people of color who are minorities anyway, they need a strong leader. And for you to carry on doing at such a young age and just carry on doing what you're doing and be so motivated and keep putting content out there and being such a shining example for people going on TV and talking about it, that's amazing. And I just want to say thank you so much for all the work. And I'm sure all our viewers are so grateful for all the nuggets that you shared with us.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me. It's lovely to connect with like-minded people and for allowing me to also be on your platform. And likewise to you, like, you're doing amazing. And I think definitely your job as well. I feel like it's so much more needed, because I remember like when I was young at school, and it's like, we had one career day, but, that wasn't enough to tell me, what is it I want to do. So I definitely feel like the work you're doing is definitely pioneering in a new way, because you're there, you're always on hand to really guide people, continuously along the way. Your career shouldn't be, a decision made in one day at a career fair or something like that. So yeah, I'm really pleased, and I love seeing your work and what you're doing as well.
Yay. Right, thank you so much to all our viewers for joining us. And if you're watching the replay, if you're watching on YouTube later and you want to get in touch, I'm going to put Kamaria's details at the bottom. If you're a person of color and you've connected with Kamaria and you're touched by what she does, and whether you're not as well, comment, get in touch. She's happy to speak to anyone as well. Kamaria, did you have a website or anywhere that people could check out quick?
Everything is on www.kamariaflaherty.com. You probably want me to spell that because I get asked so much times. It's KAMARIAFLEARY.com.
Awesome. I will put a link below, so please do check it out. She's doing amazing work. And if you're interested in career mindset as well, do feel free to contact me. It's www.careerandmindset.com. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for your comments as well. Thanks for all those that watch live, and thank you so much. And until next time, it's been the Legends of Legends project hosted by Career Mindset. Speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.